Ever stop to think about where a lie really comes from? I mean, it's something we all know about, but its actual origin is way more specific, and honestly, a lot more fascinating than you might think.
Okay, so let's really dig into this. If I ask you that question, you might point to your mouth, the thing that's actually saying the words. Or maybe, if you're feeling a little more poetic, you'd point to your heart. And I get it. But, neurologically speaking, yeah, both are way off the mark. The real source is somewhere else entirely. Here's the key right here. You gotta understand the difference between the tool and the author. Your mouth, that's just the speaker. It's the tool that gets the job done, delivering the message. But the lie itself, the whole creative process, the planning, the decision to go through with it, that's all authored in a totally different place, right behind your forehead.
And look, this isn't just some theory or guesswork. We're talking hard science here. Thanks to some seriously cool tech, like fMRI scans, scientists can literally watch a lie being formed inside someone's brain in real time. They've pinpointed the exact spot that lights up like a Christmas tree the moment someone decides to tell a lie. So say hello to the prefrontal cortex. The easiest way to think about it is like the CEO of your brain. It's the corner office right behind your forehead, and it handles all the big picture stuff. Complex planning, making judgments, social control, deciding between right and wrong, and yep, it's the part that authors deception. When you're about to lie, this is the part of your brain doing all the heavy lifting. Okay, so that's a modern scientific fact, figured out with our most advanced technology. But this is where the story takes a turn. What if I told you that this very specific anatomical insight wasn't first published in some 21st century medical journal, but was actually written down in an ancient text over 1,400 years ago?
Take a look at this verse from the Quran. Now, you really got to pay close attention to the wording here. It doesn't just say a lying person or a lying man. It actually singles out a specific part of the body, the forelock, and attaches the actions of lying and sinning directly to it. And just to be super clear, the original Arabic word used here is nasiya. This word specifically means the frontmost part of the head. We're talking about the forehead, the forelock area, the exact same spot where modern science now tells us the prefrontal cortex is located.
And this is where it all clicks together, right? Because that part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, it doesn't just cook up the lies. It's also in charge of inhibition and making moral choices, the very thing that stops you from doing something wrong. It's the hub for both the plan to do wrong and the failure to choose right. The verse says, a lying, sinning forelock. Both actions trace back to the same spot.
So here's an easy way to picture it. Think of your prefrontal cortex as the puppeteer, hidden away, pulling the strings. It comes up with the plan to lie, then it sends the command zipping down the neural pathways. And the mouth and tongue? They're just the puppets on the stage, carrying out an order that they didn't even write. The forehead is the author. The mouth is just the speaker.
Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds a little too perfect, right? It's totally fair to be skeptical, and you absolutely should be. So let's actually look at the strongest counterargument to all this.
So the skeptic's view is pretty reasonable. It says that dragging someone by the forelock was just a common phrase back then for humiliating or punishing someone. So when the text says a lying forelock, it's just a figure of speech for a lying person. But the counterargument, and it's a powerful one, is all about the adjective. The real puzzle isn't the dragging part, it's the lying part. Why blame the forelock? Why not the tongue or the mouth? The text specifically shifts the blame away from the organ of speech to the organ of intent, and that is a very, very precise claim. Which brings us right back to this. 1,400 years. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's the amount of time separating an ancient text from a 21st century neuroscience discovery. Think about it. For centuries, for millennium, we poetically blamed the heart for our bad choices and moral failings. It took us until very recently, with brain scanners and advanced technology, to discover that the biological headquarters for planning, complex choice, and deception was actually in our forehead. And yet, here we have this ancient text that seems to have pointed to that exact same spot all along. So we're left with this one big question. Is this just one of history's most unbelievable coincidences? A lucky linguistic guess that just happened to be right? Or is it pointing to something more profound? That's a question worth thinking about.